Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the BFNL Footy Preview Show, brought to you, of course, by McDonald's Ballarat and Ballarat Toyota. No Liam Brady this week, so the inmates are running the asylum here on the Footy Show this week. I've taken over the host's chair, and I've brought a couple of fine gentlemen in with me to help preview this week's Round 11 BFNL games. Firstly, on my immediate left, Toby Boyle from the East Point Football Club. Toby, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Shaun. How are you?
Very, very well. And even further on my left, making a Footy Show debut, if you will, Ciavarella from the Lake Wendouree Footy Club. Civ, welcome, mate.
Cheers, Shawnee. Thanks for having me.
Of course, both boys AFL Goldfields employees, or Civ's not an employee, but he just hangs around and we get to find work for him to do anyway. So, boys, thanks for joining us on the show. Firstly, Civ, your second year in the BFL. How do you find things down at Lakers?
Yeah, it's not bad. We're having a lot better year this year than last year. Finding ourselves a lot more competitive, so it's been pretty good. Just got to try and keep that oval in half good nick at the moment.
You've only got 3 more games on it anyway, so it's not too bad a thing, but they're all within the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's it, which by the end of that, if we play all 3 on there, it'll be pretty boggy, but you know, it's going to get changed at the end of this year, so hopefully it should come pretty good for next season.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And East Point, mate, flying on the weekend, had a really good win up against Melton, and you're on the precipice of the top 6 now.
Yeah, chasing Civ here, so if they lose this weekend and we have a win, then we'll leapfrog them. So, it's good to be close. In the competition, we don't want to see have a top 6 settled by around 10 or 11. We'd like to see it run right as far as possible in the BFL. So, we're really aiming to get inside the 6, and it starts this week against Bacchus Marsh.
And I suppose a bit of a different feel around East Point at the start of the year. We know, obviously, Dan Jordan not there. New coach coming in Glenn Wilkins, and it seemed like it took a couple of weeks for you to pick up the new game plan and kind of get used to not having the get-out-of-jail kick of Dan being in the goal square to kick to. Is that probably around the mark?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Wilkes has brought a really good game plan. He's a fantastic coach, and it takes obviously a fair time to get the players used to a new coach, but especially one who brings a pretty complex game plan and expects the players to understand where we're at now, round 10, round 11. We really should be following it, and I think on the weekend as the first 4-quarter performance that we played against Melton. So it's taken a little while, but the boys really enjoy his coaching, and we're looking forward to the second half of the season really taking on that game plan even further. Huge
game for you guys this week as we look at our first game of the weekend. Bacchus Marsh taking on East Point at Mattingley Park. Really an 8-point game for you guys. If you want to get into the top 6, these are the kind of sides that you have to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got to beat the teams that are around the same mark as us. So Melton last week, it was an 8-point game. We played really well, so we're hoping for a repeat performance. It's our first trip down the road this year. We've played every single game so far in Ballarat, which has been good, but we don't mind getting out of the freezing cold and down the highway a little bit too. It's a little slightly warmer, and hopefully it will be the case down at Bacchus Marsh. So, Cam Richardson's got them playing good football at the start of the season. We spoke earlier how they obviously haven't had a win for a few weeks, and they'll be itching to get that win against us to keep themselves in the final 6 race.
Yep.
So it'll be a red hot match. We expect them to be playing at their very best because they see an opportunity to beat us. Likewise, I think it's both teams on the same level, which is probably where we are on the ladder at the moment, and could go either way, but we're really keen to give ourselves a good showing and hopefully get the 4 points.
Steve, you'd probably disagree with Popper on that one, because from a Lakers point of view, you'd probably want to see Bacchus Marsh win just because they have that game behind, but it's going to be a pretty good game.
Yeah, that's it. Every game from now on pretty much counts around that middle of the table. There's probably 6 teams fighting for it, so I don't know, I think it'll be a close game. Bacchus are definitely harder to beat up there, I reckon. They gave us a bit of a toweling earlier in the year, so although in saying that, East Point are playing some pretty good footy at the minute, so I reckon they might get up.
East Point's your tip? You know who you're tipping in this one, Toby. I'm going to tip East Point as well. I just feel that, as you mentioned, it was a bit of a turning point for your club last week, getting that 4-quarter performance in and really taking it to Melton. You play a lot better on your home ground than you do away, and Bacchus Marsh are another team that play very well at home, but you've just got to wonder how Bacchus Marsh's confidence is at the moment. The week off last week would have helped, but not having won a game since early in May really does take to the confidence a bit. So, tipping your boys to get over the line here in a pretty close one, mate.
It will be close.
It will indeed. So will the game that you'll be playing in this week, Andy Ciavarella. Lake Wendouree taking on Melton at the Wendouree Reserve. Not tipping this to be a high-scoring game. As such, it's going to be pretty close all day.
Yeah, well, hopefully not. Hopefully we can get away from them at the start and keep the distance, but in the mud it is always a bit of a tough tussle, so I don't know, hopefully the boys are prepared for a big game.
It's going to be an interesting game, Toby, because Melton we've seen like to run on top of the ground. Their ground at McPherson Park's in pretty good nick at the moment. They ran over the top of Bacchus Marsh a couple of weeks ago, which I saw on that, and they didn't obviously fire at your ground last week, which again is in good nick. So it'll be interesting to see how they go as mud runners this year, whereas Lake Wendouree have got a lot of in and under style players that would probably revel in the conditions.
Yeah, well, I suppose when we played Lakers at Lake Wendouree, they thrashed the pants off us, outplayed us when the ground was at its best. So, like we talked about Bacchus Marsh playing their ground well, Lakers play the ground as good as anyone.
Yep.
So you expect them to know how to play it. Melton, it'll be unknown for them. A lot of new players to their team this year. A lot of probably haven't played at Lake Wendouree at their ground. So, but sometimes when they've had a bad loss last week, sometimes what you need is just that slug match. You don't want a match to blow out. You want to be in the match the whole game. So could get what they want. But I think Lake Wendouree, it's too much of an important match to drop now. They really need to keep their head above the pack. The one's chasing anyway. And I think if they drop this match, they're back in amongst everyone trying to fight for the 6th, 5th spot. So I back Lake Wendouree to win this game because it means so much to them.
No Scott Carey this week, Siv, obviously one of our mates that works with us here, but also probably, in all seriousness, a really key part of your side this year because he provides so much work and link work off half-back for you.
Yeah, definitely. His delivery is better than anyone else's at the club and probably nearly anyone else in the league. He's got one of the best kicks on both sides, so not that I want to pump his tyres up too much.
Let's not pump it up too much.
But, yeah, he's going to be a huge loss for us. I think he's only had one game out of the best, as you were telling me earlier.
As he told me as well. So.
Yeah, no doubt. But, yeah, we'll probably lose a bit of a general down back and a bit of structure, but we've got a lot of people who are used to playing down back and got a fair bit of experience there, so hopefully they can keep their shape.
Going to be a very interesting game, tipping Lakers just to get over the line in this one. As mentioned, it's going to be a slog in the mud. I can't see it being more than a 6-7 goal day for either side. So I think Lakers, who have had some experience in a close game at this ground earlier a couple of weeks ago, I think will just get over the line. So I'm doing the right thing. I'm tipping both the boys here's teams. So let's get on to the neutral ones this week. Redan taking on Darley here at the City Oval. This is going to be a pretty good game because we know the form that Redan's been in early in the season, Toby, and Darley in the last couple of weeks. You saw them firsthand a couple of weeks ago, and see if you saw them last week as well. They're back just about.
They are, yeah. Look, I was really impressed by Darley. They put us to the sword early days, and we couldn't quite catch up. And look, some very good players they've recruited this year. Steve Kennedy's just had an absolute blinder against us, and saw he continue that last week. So, look, bigger ground for Darley this week to play, Redan, who again play their ground very well. It might chop up by the time the senior game runs around. So, look, Redan, I think, will win it, but I'm going to say I reckon Darley are going to push them right the way, and I wouldn't be surprised by a Darley win.
Siv, what's your thoughts on this one, mate?
After watching Darley last week, they're going to be pretty hard to go past for me, so I reckon they are probably my pick, especially Redan maybe missing Cal Curry, big muscles again. So
he's got big muscles, hasn't he?
Huge muscles. Big head too. Have a look at that circumference. But I think Darley might get over in a close one.
This is where we don't hear from Liam Brady all that much on the footy show. Circumference. It's 3 or 4 syllables above what he's normally used to. But
absolutely.
I reckon Redan here. Look, Redan are in great form at the moment. They're probably the form side of the league in the last, obviously not playing last week, but before that, they're probably the form side of the league. And it's going to be a really good test to see exactly where Darley's at. If they win this, then people can quite rightly start framing them back into that premiership market that everybody had them in pre-season. If they go down in an honourable loss, so to speak, then we think, Darley are going to be thereabouts. They get a little bit more polished and they'll challenge again. But if Redan become Redan and just flex their muscles and wipe the floor with them, then you've got to think it's probably a step or two back for Darley. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this one pans out, tipping the Lions just to get over the line here. Sebastopol taking on Ballarat, and it's not the Burrows that'll be running out on the field this week, it's the Sebastopol Saints, because the St Kilda Footy Club obviously have an alliance with the Sebastopol Football Netball Club, and they're taking over a little bit this week. There's a new jumper, a combination between the Burrows original jumper and a St Kilda jumper. Sam Gilbert and Eli Templeton stepping into the coach's box this week to give Phil Carman a chop out, and some pretty good signs with the relationship between the St Kilda Footy Club and the Sebast Footy Club that'll bear some fruit this weekend.
Yeah, great for Sebast to see this, and look, St Kilda have always had a rich history with the Ballarat region, so good on St Kilda for jumping on board, a club in the league to help them out. I'm not sure it's going to help Sebas against Ballarat on the day. Look, you expect Sebas to put up a good show with the event that's going on and the hype surrounding the Saints Alliance. So good luck to them, but I think Ballarat will be too strong. They're really a good team, but I think they're going to lock themselves into that third position for the rest of the year, and they don't want to drop a match. Not now, so I expect Ballarat to have a good win.
And I think you're right there. It's a game where if Ballarat win this, it basically locks the top three down, and it's just position shuffling after that. Having said that, Sebas are getting better. They were really competitive for 3 quarters last week against Melton South. It was only really that third quarter they got blown out of the water, and they did that without Michael Powell in the team, who was playing in the VFL, got the late call-up. So, look, Ballarat, I reckon, will win this fairly easily, Siv, but I reckon Sebastopol will be a lot more competitive than a lot of people will think.
Yeah, well, hopefully, and especially with these St Kilda boys coming, hopefully they can get a big crowd there and give them something to fight for, I suppose. So it'd be nice to see Ballarat get pushed over there, but I wouldn't be holding my breath to it. I think Ballarat will get up.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. There's still some space available at the luncheon that Sebastopol Footy Club are running tomorrow as well. The E.J. Whitten Foundation luncheon that they're running. Ted Whitten Jr. himself will be there. Chris Palchin, their head of football at St Kilda, will be there as well. If you want tickets, the numbers are scrolling across the screen at the moment. Give Chris Parker a call at the Sebastopol Footy Club. He'll look after you on what's going to be a great day down at the Borough. I think there's also a sportsman's night going on after the game, so give Chris a call. He'll be able to update you with everything that's going on at the Borough tomorrow. Last game of the round, grand final rematch. Sunbury taking on North Ballarat City at Clark Oval. Sides will obviously look a little bit different to what they did on that last day in September that we watched last year, Toby, but Sunbury need a victory very, very soon because they've got a tough run coming up. They've let a couple of close ones go in the last couple of weeks, and all of a sudden that grip that they had on the top 6 position is starting to really loosen.
Yeah, I think Sunbury can surprise, especially down there. They did it in round 1. No one expected them to win. They had a great win over Darley. North Ballarat City are the most polished team in the league. Play a very good brand of football. So they'll be very hard for Sunbury to knock them off. But as I said, down there, if the conditions suit, if it's a really wet day and it's close in tight, even though they're young body Sunbury for the majority of the players, they're very exciting. Run on top of the ground even when it's wet, try and get the ball out. Kind of similar game plan to how North play, but obviously different body shapes. But I still think Sunbury can push North, but North are the best team in the league at the moment and should have a win. But again, like the Redan-Darley game, wouldn't be surprised if Sunbury had a win.
Look, North haven't been overly convincing in the last few weeks before they had the week off last week. They've got themselves over the line. They've done exactly what they need to do to win the game, but it hasn't been blowout margins against yourselves, Civ, against Melton South, against teams like that we thought may be really big margins. They're starting to get their ducks in order now. Obviously, having the week off last week helps with a few blokes that have had niggles. They'll enjoy going down to Sunbury and running on top of the ground. Obviously, a fantastic surface at Clark Oval as well. So I reckon North are going to prime themselves for this one.
Yeah, that's it. Being the grand final rematch, I reckon it's going to be another similar game for North. I think Sunbury will get themselves up and about for it. And they'll come out with a bit of grunt, but I think North are too good to let a game slip like that, so I'll back them in,
I think so as well. I'm in agreement with exactly what the both of you have said. It's going to be a close game, and Sunbury are going to really come. They're going to come ready to play for this one, but you just think that North will be able to grind them down as the day goes on, and probably in the end run away with it a bit in the last quarter. You'll probably see when young blokes, when they can get down a little bit, the heads can droop a little bit sometimes, and I've just got a feeling that North will probably not really pull away from Sunbury until about 10 minutes into the last quarter, but when they do, they'll go bang, 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 and they'll end up winning by 8-9 goals. That's this week's games. We do have a couple of things to touch on before we leave for this week, because obviously the calendar's turned over. We're now in July, which means it's time to announce our SC Technology Player of the Month award for June. And of course, the Player of the Month wins this fantastic Toshiba tablet, valued at $699, thanks to our great friends at SC Technology Group. I'll give the bad news first. It's neither of you two blokes, so I apologise for that.
I had a good month.
Stiff, mate.
I thought you had a good month, actually, and you were probably 4th or 5th in the voting.
Nowhere near it.
Another bloke that's not going to be happy is a bloke that we mentioned earlier in this show, Scott Carey, who thought he was an absolute moral for it.
Rates himself
highly. And look, he has played some good footy, but he came second in the voting this month, let's be honest. The winner of the SC Technology Group Player of the Month for June 2014, Reece Miles from the Melton South Footy Club, who has been absolutely fantastic all season long. Topped it off last week with 40 possessions and 4 goals against Sebastopol. Congratulations, Reece. This one's coming your way. We'll get that out to you in the next week or so. A fantastic Toshiba tablet from our friends at SC Technology Group. Last week, we spoke about the Collingwood and Carlton pitches that we had, the Premiership Years pitches. Fantastic price, $200, where they're normally $2.95 anywhere you can buy them, and we had a couple of nibbles out of it, so it was good. It was a good day, so we thought we'll continue it this week. Friday night footy in the AFL this week, Civ, North Melbourne versus Hawthorn. So what we've done is we've got our Friday night footy special, if I can pick it up off the table. Here's the North piece. I'm going to put this in front of you, Toby. I hope you don't mind, mate. There's the North piece showcasing each of their 4 premierships throughout the AFL. Siv, what are you going to bring in for us there, mate? Just to your left. Really should have prepped you on this beforehand, but you were sitting in there writing your notes for the day. You've got the Hawthorn piece as well, showcasing each of the Hawks flags, including last year's premiership win against the Sydney Swans. Each of these has a certificate of authenticity. Each of them are numbered to 1,000. Fantastic mementos for premiership victories for both of these sides. As per last week, we'll do exactly the same thing. $2.95 anywhere you can find these in shops. We'll do them for you for $200. Get in, let me know. Across the screen at the moment, all the details. You want one of those, come to me, $200. It's all yours. Don't worry about GST. Put $200 in my hand. Take one of those home, put it on the wall. Fantastic memento if you're a Hawks fan, if you're a North fan, or if you're a footy fan in general. Boys, that's all the time we've got this week. Siv, thanks for coming in, mate.
Thanks, mate. It's good to be here.
Good insights by yourself. Also, some very good insights by you, Toby. You'd think you'd done this once or twice before.
I have, yes.
Of course you have. Fantastic work by you. Thanks for joining us once again on the BFNL Footy Preview. Thanks to McDonald's Ballarat. Thanks to Ballarat Toyota. And thanks to you. We'll see you again next week.